My name is Sarah Putman. I'm a laboratory technician at the Smithsonian's Conservation Biology Institute. Our endocrinology lab is located at the National Zoo's Front Royal, Virginia campus. Our hormone monitoring is using non-invasive techniques. It's a lot easier on the animals, it's very stress-free. It's easier for us to collect a fecal sample from a lion versus a blood sample from a lion. Can you imagine trying to get a blood sample from a lion every day for a year? We collect fecal samples and we can monitor those the same as we can a blood sample. Right now I'm working with some panda fecal samples, and most people would think that working with poo is pretty gross, but this really isn't that bad. It's kind of like grass and it doesn't even smell that bad. It actually smells like green tea. We also monitor the hormones of a variety of animals from across the globe, both in captive environments and in the wild. And we're monitoring the hormones of the lions that are currently housed at the National Zoo. The lions did breed in January and she hasn't started cycling again yet, which may mean that she's pregnant, and we may be looking forward to some lion cubs in the spring. We monitor hormones because it's another piece in the conservation puzzle. In order to exist, a species has to reproduce. And we can apply the information we learn in the lab to animals in the wild to help maintain their populations. Probably our most famous client is the giant pandas. We have a breeding pair at the National Zoo, and every year we monitor their reproductive hormones during the breeding season. Giant pandas only ovulate once a year, and their fertile period is about 48 hours long, so the timing is very critical. Before the beginning of the breeding season, we start by analyzing Mei Xiang's urine samples to monitor her baseline hormone values. And as we get closer to the breeding season, we actually rely a little bit on the keepers and the volunteers at the Panda house. They are monitoring her behaviors, and when they notice that she's starting to exhibit signs of estrus, they let us know and we start analyzing the samples a little more frequently. The next thing that we're looking for is for a significant precipitous drop in her estrogen levels, and that tells us that she has ovulated and that she's fertile and she's ready to be inseminated. And we can schedule all of the veterinarians and the reproductive physiologists to all come together at the zoo and inseminate the panda. Once we've done the artificial insemination, it's all dependent on Mei Xiang. We monitor her urine for progestogens now. So what we're looking for is a rise in progestogens, and once that rise in progestogens happens, we know that we have about 45 days till the end of her reproductive cycle, and that will either be a birth of a cub or the end of her pseudo-pregnancy. One of the most interesting things about the giant panda is that their hormones look the same whether they're pregnant or not. And that's what's so difficult about the panda, is that we can't tell whether she's pregnant or pseudo-pregnant just based on her hormones. What we can do is we can use other observational tools. We can do ultrasound on the panda to look and see if we can see a fetus, but the problem with that is that the fetus is so small that it's a little difficult to see. Another thing that we can look at is her behaviors. She starts to cradle her toys, she starts to den up, she starts to make a nest, and that tells us that she's near the end of her reproductive cycle. So then we let the panda staff know that they should be on high alert for the end of the reproductive cycle, which could end in a birth of a panda cub. So we've just finished the analysis of the most recent urine samples from Mei Xiang, and I'm sorry, panda fans, it looks like she's still elevated. You're gonna have to wait a little longer for some news.